Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to XRT Thoughts and Reactions. We back with another one, Chapter 17. Lord Raijin has pulled up to Universe 7. It ain't looking pretty. Let's get to it.
Now, this was most certainly an unexpected and surprising turn of events to have unfold, and while our attention has now completely shifted over onto our newly arrived guest, if there was ever a time for Universe 7 to stand in unity against any such being that threatens it, then now would be the perfect time in having all of us do so before it's too late.
As our story now continues, following the initial events of the demon spy known as Haas now being infiltrated and caught by Whis and having to answer before God of Destruction Beerus, as with the demon now having to be left completely defenseless and also now being outnumbered and having to face off against Beerus, Whis, Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan, was when Beerus went on to then touch back down by then responding, "So, you returned to spy on my planet after everything you've done to cause the mess that you did here on my world now, did you? And as I have tolerated far too many intrusions into Universe 7 as of late, and here you are slithering back like the foul creature that you are, and honestly truly thinking that we weren't going to catch you," Beerus continues. "Well, would you go and look at that now, you disgusting little worm? Tell me, did you really think that hiding within the shadows was going to keep you safe long enough for us not to grab hold of you? For you would have been mistaken, as you must have some kind of a death wish for coming back here to spy on my planet after everything you've caused and all the chaos you've helped spread throughout my universe. And yet even now you still dare to return, for I'll be the first to go and tell you that this isn't bravery, demon, but more or less rather for you, it's death," Beerus continues, "for spying on my world was not just foolish, but it was a declaration of war against me, and so now tell me, why exactly are you crawling around within my universe?" Beerus questions. "And what exactly did you go and do with my blood samples that you have collected? For I want to know every secret that you carry and every scrap of information that you have. Or, you miserable little creature, I will go on to rip your very essence apart until there is nothing left that remains of you but dust within the wind, demon. And so now start talking, or I am going to vaporize you until there is nothing left." As a frightened demon Haas then went on to quickly respond, Wait, okay, I'll talk, because since I already have nothing more that's left for me to lose here against you, then I guess I am hereby left with no other choice but to then tell you, but I will go as far as to say that no matter what you try and do, and no matter what you try and convince yourself with, once this is all said and done, you are all doomed once the Dark Masters are able to finally have their way with your blood destroyer, because while you may assume that you and your kind are irreplaceable by design, wait until you get a look at what our top scientists have been engineering by using your DNA. And so for me, well, I'm just the lookout, Haas continues, the watchful eye, if you will. And so because I am, I will be the least of your worries, God of Destruction. But I will say that if you think that it'll stop with me, then you are sadly mistaken, Haas says. And that is because, let's just say, if you do go and take my life as a result, there will always be another that will go and take my place as being the watchful eye of the demon realm destroyer. And so now you can just go ahead and do to me as you'd like, but sooner or later the same will be done unto you once Lord Raijin and the Dark Masters come bursting through your front door, God of Destruction. And so no matter what you go and try and threaten me with, you will, I've heard all that I needed to hear out of you, Beerus went on to then suddenly interrupt. For if that is all that you have to offer me while your life dangles on the line here in front of me, demon, enough is enough, Beerus continues. And since you have lived far longer than you should have been allowed to go and live, this is where you will go and meet the end of your line, demon. But then, it was suddenly from out of nowhere as Demon Haas then began to glow, with even Haas himself not knowing as to what was going on, was when Haas then went on to quickly respond, What the? And just what is this? Wait. Oh no. This isn't coming from the destroyer, but rather, no, please, master, I beg of you, just please go and give me another chance. Hey, Gohan then went on to quickly chime in. Is he supposed to be glowing like that, or? Wait a minute now, Beerus went on to then quickly respond, and just what exactly is this creature up to? Why is he suddenly starting to glow with this strange dark energy around him? But then, it was only just upon with Beerus now beginning to ponder on this question, with the demon Haz's body being shown having to get tugged towards an incoming portal, was when the demon god Raijin then went on to chime in.
That's enough, for you have gone as far as you possibly could go, and yet even your best has proven to have been a mistake, and a mistake that will cost you dearly, demon. For what an utterly pathetic and useless creature you are to have been captured the way that you have, as I will hereby ensure that you are dealt with once we have returned back into the demon realm, and I'll go and make sure of that personally. But for the time being, you are to wait for my return and stay out of my way.
And the others cannot believe it because
I don't know how to feel about this right now. The way he pulled up is crazy. Hey, the sound effects on this, the way y'all put this together.
with Gohan, Beerus, and Goku now left baffled at seeing Raijin now for the very first time, was when Beerus then went on to chime back in. Wait a minute now, and just what gives here? What is this? And what exactly is that which is starting to manifest on the other side here? Is that another demon? No, this appears to be something more, with Gohan responding, whoa, and just who the heck is that? And that energy, look, I think he's starting to peer through now, as Whis went on to then touchdown by then chiming in. Listen to me very carefully. For the time being, I want you to go and hold your ground and do not engage, Lord Beerus. For if this is whom I think that it is, then I want you to cease any attacks for as long as you can, as Raijin then went on to peer through by then responding, so I see that you have grown quite frail since the last time I had gone as far as to watch you gods of destruction come into your positions of power, and ever since, the tales of your destruction don't appear to have done you any justice, Beerus. For not only have you become a mockery of what a true god is supposed to represent, but for you to also house mortal warriors on your planet like this was but all another reason as to why that fallen angel Murno should have destroyed you all when he had the chance, Raijin says, as that angel should have went and set aside his pride and finished what he had went and started, but no matter, because of all the universes that I've been told about, your universe appears to be the most troublesome of the 12, and so now I can't help but wonder, after finally having to meet you, on whether or not it is your incompetence or is it your arrogance that allows for such weakness to flourish within such a universe as this one, as Goku then went on to quickly chime in, that energy, but of course, for it has to be him. That's the one. That's the Dark Lord of the Underworld that I had overheard the Dark Masters in wanting to go and set free, Lord Beerus. For I can now remember on sensing this exact power when I was held captive within the demon realm, and so I know that's Lord Raijin. Wait a minute now, so this was the power that you had been sensing while down there now, is it? So this is the god of the demon realm then? Well, so be it. As Raijin went on to then continue, then to think that a god of destruction would go and stoop so low as to fraternize with mere mortals disgusts me. You and your kind, you so-called deities, have become soft, complacent, and tainted by the influence of those who you are meant to tower above. Or do you believe that their lives gives you purpose, god of destruction, Raijin questions? Or have you already forgotten what it means to wield true divine authority since I've been away? And as that rotten angel Murno was right to have wanted to wipe you all out when he saw the opportunity opportunity in doing so, but it's just too bad that just like you, he simply wasn't strong enough to see through with his mission until the very end of his miserable and pathetic erasure. But unlike him, I, on the other hand, will not falter, for my mission isn't to destroy you all, because why waste all of this valuable life when I can enslave you rather than simply eliminate you, Raijin says. For I do not fear you creatures, even yourself, God of Destruction, and so don't go and assume that I would, because maybe if it were not for your association with such life forms, then maybe you would have still been able to command a little bit of respect around here, even as I stand before your presence. As Beerus went on to then respond, you know, I find your arrival onto my planet to be quite the impressive one, because even while it's only been just a few minutes since you've been standing there and running your mouth towards me, have I only grown to now despise you ever so much. But here, Beerus continues upon being shown sticking his arm out, let me go and give you a little friendly reminder on just how soft and
this is not like any other entity he done dealt with. This is gonna be different.
Complacent we deities can really be, since it only now appears as though that you may have seemed to have forgotten, demon. And so now do yourself a favor while you're here and just hold still and stay right where you are and allow for me to go and leave you speechless, Beerus says. To which it was only seconds later within that very moment, as Beerus had went as far as to let out multiple energy blasts at Raijin, was when surprisingly enough Raijin went on to freeze each and every single one of Beerus's blasts by then responding, fine then, if you insist, then I shall remain where I am, but tell me, this certainly wasn't the kind of speechless that you had originally intended on leaving me now, was it? With a surprised Beerus then going off by responding, wait, say what now? But how did he just go and stop them in their place like that without having to even go as far as to move a muscle? Did anyone else go and see him move? Because I certainly didn't, with Ultra Instinct Goku responding, no, but what does it look like that he is about to go and do? As Raijin went on to then stick his arm out by then responding, just because I may appear to look old does not mean that I still haven't retained the vast amount of knowledge that I have accumulated throughout my time as the god of the underworld. For even though I have yet to fully cross over into your realm while remaining where I currently am, Raijin continues, does not mean that I still cannot go and use my magic to my advantage here against you if I need to. And so if you confuse my appearance in assuming that I am indeed no match for either of you, Raijin went on to then snap his fingers upon now being shown blowing away all of Beerus's blasts, then you are all gravely mistaken if you think that I would fold under such circumstances and conditions. With Beast Gohan then quickly asking, oh, and so how's about it then? Should we go and blast him out of that wormhole or what, Dad? With Goku responding, right then, and so now let's go and show him otherwise then, Gohan, so on your move. To which as Gohan and Goku were then shown having to attempt to blast Raijin, was when Raijin had then gone as far as to reposition his arm upwards and redirecting their attacks by then responding, such feeble attempts of daring to try and attack me as a collective will only go as far as to ensure one thing when this is all over, and that one thing that I will go as far as to guarantee is your complete and absolute obliteration from the face of existence without possibly having to return. Oh, just great, Gohan says. Well, brace yourselves, everyone, because it looks like it's making its way right back towards us. But then, it was only from out of nowhere with Whis now shown using his staff and having to smack away Goku and Gohan's collective attacks away from everyone was when Whis went on to then respond, that's far enough, demon, for I will not allow for you to go and turn this planet into your own personal sandbox of destruction while I'm here. As Raijin went on to then respond, but of course, and then there's you, Angel Whis of the 7th, and just what exactly do you think gives you the right to intervene, Raijin questions? Because if memory serves me to be correct here from what I can remember about you rotten creatures, then you are forbidden to engage with me in battle here lest you warrant your own destruction by the hands of your own father, isn't that right? But since that no longer appears to be the case, what exactly has changed, Angel? With Whis responding, I find it quite interesting that you stand there within the shadows of the demon realm and seeking answers about my actions actions and how they reflect onto our angelic code, but you should go as far as to know that the boundaries which you presume to understand have shifted since Murno's clash here against the multiverse, Whis says. And if you honestly truly think that I will just stand idly by, constrained by the angelic code which we follow while the multiverse teeters on the edge of calamity, then I must say that you are sorely mistaken, demon. You angels are always so composed and always so certain of the boundaries you've crafted in this little multiversal playground that you protect, Raijin says. How cheeky of you, but hear me now, angel, for the day will come where I will gladly go on to accept your challenge when I step through and taste these changed waters that you proudly claim. But that day will not be today, for you see, unlike you who is bound by duty and reaction to follow, I, on the other hand, am already several moves ahead, for there is an artifact that calls for me in the meantime, which coincidentally is a power that both you and your precious order have yet to fully grasp, and once I am able to find all of these pieces which I seek, only then will I therefore go and come for you and your brethrens, for there will be no world and no void in which you will travel and hide in that I will be able to find you all once my mission is hereby finally complete, Raijin continues, and so in the meantime, I will be seeing you all very, very soon. This, mighty angel, I promise you, to which as Raijin was then shown vanishing back within the demon realm was when Beast Gohan then went on to chime back in. Wait, and so what are we all just doing standing around for? Let's go after him before he is able to escape, especially if he's the main guy that's causing all of this, with Whis interrupting. No, you will remain where you are, for entering into the demon realm without the aid of the Grand Minister would be a death sentence for you mortals, and especially with the demon realm itself having to give them a home field advantage, it would be wise for us not to go in there alone to face such creatures unless we absolutely have no choice. And so Lord Beerus, please listen to me while I understand your frustrations towards briefly dealing with this demon god, and I only hereby ask of you to please reserve yourself, for there is nothing that we can do for the time being, as Gohan and Goku went on to power down with Gohan responding, so that's the god of the underworld that you said these dark masters were hoping to set free, now was it, Dad? With Goku chiming in, yeah, that's right, he's definitely the one, and now that he's free, this doesn't look like it's going to be an easy battle here to wage against these demons either, with Vegeta having to then respond, damn that bastard, this feels like Murno all over again, especially now that this so-called demon god is back on the loose, because it's clear now that he's up to something, and we have no other choice but to find out as to what that is, with Whis having to then respond, well, now that we are all made very well aware of what exactly is going on around here, I will need for you all to go and keep a very watchful eye while I go and try my best to further better our situation elsewhere, with Beerus questioning, then just what exactly will you be doing in the meantime, because I know that you're up to something, and so what is your move going to be here, Whis? With Whis responding, well, in the meantime, I will go and try to gather together my brothers and sisters in hoping of coming up with a solution and further having to get through to the Omni King while we still can, and while I understand that this will not be easy even for us without the Omni Kings and the Grand Minister at our side, Whis continues, there is no telling on what those creatures will go and continue to do if we allow for their actions to go and continue to go unchecked, for within our code it is said that if an angel or a god of destruction were to go and enter into a ruling domain housed by another deity first, then we are to be destroyed, Whis says, which is why if anything were to happen, we must try to go and get Raijin to cross over into our domain first in order for its deities to be given the right to fight without restriction, just as the case was when Murno had went and arrived when he did, and so I suggest for you all to go and watch your approach while I'm away, but even if you do happen to find yourselves locked within a battle, then do make sure to watch your surroundings at all times, with Beerus being shown turning towards Vegeta and responding, you hear that, Saiyan? This now means that we are all on our own until the Omni Kings and Grand Minister are to join us unless we get the job done ourselves, and unlike how it was before, I don't intend on allowing for those little worms to escape me if they are to return onto my world ever again, you hear me? With Whis having to then respond, and do also bear in mind that we cannot afford to risk having to lose anyone here either in case a battle were to go and break out, Whis says, so while both Goku and Vegeta remain as two of our leading forces in this fight against Raijin and his army, just go and do us all a favor, Saiyans, and just try to do your best and stay alive out there. there. To which it was only then within that moment, as Whis was then shown having to take his leave, was when Goku then went on to respond, "Oh well, in that case, we better go and start getting a move on and plan ahead, just in case things were to go from bad to worse without having us go and prepare beforehand," with Gohan responding, "Wait, Dad, before we go and do anything, I think it's best if we go and get Broly off of planet Vampa and keep him close, just in case we may in fact actually need him for a little later on," with Goku responding, "Hey, actually, as a matter of fact, yeah, I think you're right, but let's just hope that just in case we do, he just doesn't end up absolutely losing his mind during battle and tries to come after one of us instead, but let's go then." And so in the meantime, Goku then went on to address Vegeta by then responding, "Before I forget, it's better if we just go and grab Broly and come back here, since this already seems like it's going to be a hot spot for a potential battle, and so while we're away, and if you end up finding yourself in some kind of a danger, then just let us know, Vegeta," with Vegeta responding, "We'll be fine here in the meantime while you're gone, and so now hurry it up and get going before they end up getting to Broly before you do, Kakarot. Quit wasting time." To which that was exactly what Goku now ended up doing, because with both Gohan and Goku now having to use instant transmission and making their way towards planet Vampa, was when Vegeta then went on to continue, "Oh, that idiot," which, speaking of wasting time, and if there is one thing that this book that Whis had given me had taught me, it is that it appears as though these demons operate best and at their most lethal when placed within their own domain as a home field advantage, Vegeta says, and if that ends up being the case, then there must be some kind of a counter to having them feed off of that realm in order to remain within the position of control during any battle that they find themselves in. And while we now know on who it is that is after us, Vegeta went on to then continue, then similar to that fallen angel Murno before, I must go on to find a way to prevent what happened prior if we are to go off and face this demon god in battle, and that means having to strive to do everything and anything to beat him. And then just what do you think you're doing? Wake up, Saiyan, Beerus went on to then push Vegeta from behind by then responding, "For now is not the time to be daydreaming about your fantasies of overcoming the fear that you once felt when having to battle against that angel, but tell me something, Vegeta. You and I haven't sparred in quite some time since that angel's arrival, now haven't we?" Beerus questions. "When was the last time that you and I had last battled?" with Vegeta responding, "Well, it has been quite some time since you and I have last sparred, but I couldn't really go on to tell you on when exactly that was, since I wouldn't be able to remember, and so now why exactly do you ask, Lord Beerus?" with Beerus responding, "Interesting, very interesting, and besides your fusion with Goku, which was the only other saving grace in our mission to stop that bastard Murno, now I'm curious to know, and so now tell me, how exactly did you feel when you battled against that angel, Saiyan? Was the battle itself something that had troubled you ever since?" with Vegeta having to then reminisce by then responding, "Well, to be quite blunt with you, it felt as though I was up against an unbreakable wall of power is what it felt like, as no matter what it was that I tried to do, I just couldn't find a way to break him, even if the others had come to my aid, and so because of this, I never want to go and feel that helpless as I did ever again, because it was bad enough in having him best us all the way that he did and having to do it alone, but what made matters worse was that without my fusion with Kakarot, it felt as though no matter how hard we tried, we always were destined to fail against him," with Beerus then being shown having to circle around Vegeta by then responding, "Interesting, and you say that it's been far too long since you remember the last time that you and I had trained, isn't that right? Well, because now that Gohan and that ridiculous Goku are out of the way," Beerus continues, "what do you say that you and I go and take this opportunity to change that, in not only having to battle one another and also progressing through our strength, but to maybe also find out on just which one of us is the superior warrior between you and I, shall we? And as it would be far better for us to go and learn more about where we stand just in case we need to when facing off against those demons, but on top of the fact, for not only do I believe that this will be the perfect warm-up in order for us to get ourselves ready for whatever it is that's coming, but at least this can also be a great way in having us both grow stronger along the way by also finding out on just what kind of vulnerabilities we can expose within one another before, of course, we go and make our way into the demon realm. And so now, what do you say, Vegeta? Because not only can we go and take this moment to go engage our true power, Beerus continues, but how is about we go and hurry and take this chance to battle and see what we can learn, as it was only right then and there now, during that moment, where the Beyond Dragon Ball Super Story of the Dark Masters, the official Murno sequel, manga chapter number 17 special, then comes to a close.
Man, This one, I give a 4.5 out of 5. They kind of brought the intensity back to it. Last chapter was kind of mid. They didn't give us too much, but with this one, they came back. They had Raijin pull up. He was in and out real quick. He counted everything they sent his way with ease. He had a counter for everybody too. Beerus, Goku, Gohan, and Whis. Like, he letting them know, I'm here to stay. I'll be back. And when I come back, it's gonna be worse. So look like Goku and Gohan finna go grab Broly real quick, come back where they got the time, just get all the forces that they can. Piccolo already got the androids on board. Vegeta and Beerus about to get some training in. So these next three episodes gonna be fire. So I'm expecting to get some 5s out of 5s. But shout out to Unrelenting Gaming. I love how y'all did this one. Y'all added some tweaks to it. It was fire. So you new to the channel, man, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share. We out.